Welcome to Season 7 of A Little Birdie Told Me with rollercoaster.ie. I'm your host, Rebecca Horan, and on episode 10, I'm sitting down with designer Emma Manley. Sponsored by Optimal Follow On. We believe that every feed is a gift. That's why we've dedicated over 50 years to breast milk research. Optimal Follow On Milk, your life, our science. Breastfeeding is best. Follow On milk should be used as part of a mixed diet from 6 months. Talk to a health professional. And if you like this episode, it would be a great help if you could like it, share it, and subscribe to the podcast. On this episode, I'm talking to someone who I would consider a friend, who I've known for a very long time. Don't get to see her, but, like everything, watch on social media with great, admiration. This is designer, mum of 3, inspirational woman, Emma Manley. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, just thrilled to have you. Like, you and I tic-tac a lot on things. We've worked together on some bits and pieces. I know that you were on this podcast moons ago, but there's a lovely synchronicity to something I put up or you put up, and there's a kind of like, and yet we're very different in many ways.
Yeah, I think there's certain people in your life that you've worked with through the years. Like our first meeting was in Topshop.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to mention
How long
him.
ago is that?
I don't, Rebecca.
No, but seriously,
it's going to make me feel old. It's got to be 20 years. It is, because I'm 38.
It couldn't be 20 years because I wasn't that. What age was I?
It was. I think, it was. I'm 38.
Nearly 20 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's mental.
Yeah. So, like, I think there's
we were such babas.
We were babas. And there's such a crew of us in there who've gone on to work in this industry.
Yeah.
And you always watch them and see what they're doing. And you do feel like we had a lot of great times together. Like, we worked together. We went out together a lot. And you always hold those people, I think, with extra.
You've the 3 boys.
3 boys, yeah.
What ages, Emma?
So 5, 4, 2. Yes.
That's so busy.
It is. It's massively busy. But I will say, we're just back from a weekend in my husband's home place in Cork. And I feel, and I almost don't want to say it because I'm like, next time we go down, it may not be the same. I felt like this time was easier. Things were just easier. You're not panicking about having 2 people strapped in a buggy. You're not panicking. Even silly things like my husband's in a choir down there with the boys, and they sing at mass every Sunday. And it's they learn through osmosis. So Tyg would have gone into the choir before he was 1 in his dad's arms. Now he stands up the front and he sings the songs. He can't read yet, but he sings the songs because he knows them. And now Danine is in Owen's arms. And I was never able to bring Darach to mass because he's an absolute lunatic. Like, he just would scream the place down. So this time I go halfway through mass and we sit opposite the choir, and that's his introduction into it. And I'm like, we're back here. This is like, it's not me pacing up and down outside a church waiting for the guys to come out and him screaming daddy, 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 and he understands what's going on. The whole trip just felt easier. And it was beautiful. It's now, I'm just looking back on it, I'm like, wow, I think it's a big milestone for our little family.
But you must be very calm, graceful parents if you find, because whether your boys are very, very quiet or not, 3 children under the age of 5 is a lot. I don't care who you are. And so the fact you're saying it felt like it came together, I'm like, what? Like, I have a 3 and 7-year-old. They're great girls. I don't compare either or. Like, they have their own personalities, and it's busy. It's brilliant crack. But I brought one away on my own for weekend racing, and it was lovely. I actually really enjoyed that time, and she's a lot older, but it was hard work. And I came back completely empty for about a week. Just from the sheer survival, the communication,
the exertion of it all.
Exactly. It's a human you're trying to keep alive and feed and make sure she's enjoying it. And do you feel the pressure? Do you think nowadays we're all trying to just reinvent the wheel and make sure it's perfect, or not?
Yeah, I would. But I think, and I don't know again if it's the space of time that I'm in now with the boys, but I very much turned my back on that.
Okay.
I would have, in the early days, put a huge amount of pressure. The pressure, I think, actually comes from me. I am I feel like I'm somebody who wants to achieve a lot in a very short space of time. So, with work stuff, with home stuff, I like to make everything from scratch, but I still like to run my own business. But I also still like to be a full-time parent to my children. I also still love to go to the gym. Like, there's all these things that I try and do, but I put that pressure on myself. And I think in the past few months, I have just, or maybe even year, I've kind of just turned my back on it a little bit.
Okay.
And I just think I want a nice life. Yes, I want to achieve the things that I've always wanted to achieve, but I want to be happy in doing so. And being constantly 100 miles an hour, filling every moment in time and not taking time to appreciate wasn't doing me any good. I'm quite a highly strung person anyway.
Okay.
Massively.
Are you?
Oh, everyone, I don't, I
God,
don't understand.
you meet Emma and you're just like, she's such a joy. And I was like a bit frazzled coming in there from an appointment. And I was like, God, I love Emma. She just brings... I wouldn't see you as highly strung. So well done for the masking, which must be exhausting.
Well, I feel like you need to talk to my husband because everybody's always like, you're so calm. And I'm like, I don't think I am.
You think you're highly strung? In what regard are you highly strung?
Like, I'm just always go, go, go.
But is that different? Is it just that you're active, you're a creative, you're a mover, you're a shaker, you're trying to make a living? Or is it that you're highly strung? Is that too, like, are you anxious and stressed at the same time? Is that not what
anxiety is not something I deal with.
Okay.
No, definitely not. No, I just think I always want to be doing more.
But is highly strung not a negative word? Like highly strung is like
no, I think
on
highly,
the periphery of
no, because sometimes people need to be highly strung in order to get shit done.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't think it's a totally negative thing.
Yeah, okay.
It's how we look at it and say, oh God,
no,
like
fair
they're
enough.
highly strung. Maybe it's like, oh, they're a little bit highly strung.
And you don't
okay.
suffer from anxiety. Why? You just block it. You're very good at being calm in yourself.
I don't know. It's not something I have dealt with at all, which I'm very grateful for. But no, it's not something that I've ever really encountered. Like, you know yourself, the odd time you might go, God, I'm feeling very anxious about whatever. Like actually yesterday when Owen was dropping me to the train in Cork, because I was coming back 24 hours before the family to record this. And like in the car, I remember saying to him, God, I feel a little bit anxious because I'm used to having 3 boys with me or at least one. I'm used to drop offs. I'm used to, whereas this is probably one of the first working days that I've had where I haven't had to drop off 3 people before.
Weird.
Yeah, because they're my armor.
They're your thing. Yeah.
You're always holding a hand. Sometimes I find it strange.
And
when
is
you're
it
walking.
nice? You were saying, oh, you've had a space this morning, or do you kind of feel a bit like, oh, I just want my family back? Like, what are your feelings?
No. I'll thoroughly enjoy this day.
Yeah.
To get home, I have a ton of leather to cut for orders. I've packages to pack up. I've so much to do, and I'll enjoy doing it. But will I enjoy them coming through the door later on today? Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Cute.
You know, the house is very quiet.
So you've said there, before we kind of got into the highly strung comment, you said there you did feel this pressure, and recently you've taken your foot off the gas on that parenting pressure thing, like you were saying, within the last few months or a year. What made you just go, oh, I can't be fucking doing it?
Because I want to enjoy it.
Okay, and you weren't?
I was. I wouldn't say I wasn't enjoying it, but I think when you have 3 kids as close together as myself and Owen had them, the pressure, particularly on me, like obviously Owen's going out to work every day, it's a different pressure for him, but looking after and keeping 3 children, like essentially we had 3 under 3. Now we missed that accolade by a couple of weeks, but that's pretty much, they were all tiny babies. There's things, the physicality of it is huge. You're minding 3 children, but you're feeding them. We had three kids going down for naps, and then you'd line the 3 of them up on the floor and take off the 3 nappies. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
was it kind of did you want this?
Yeah.
Okay, you did. Okay, so sorry, this was part of the plan. It wasn't like accidental pregnancy.
Yeah, no, not at all. Like Tig took a little bit of time to come. He was the hardest one, and then after that, you know, things were fair. I think we just also the boys were COVID kids. You know, COVID hit on Tig's first birthday. On his first birthday was the day that Leo stood on the steps and told us that life was, you know, going to be completely different.
Mad.
So his christening and first birthday were on the same day. We'd all of the family coming down to Cooley and Cork, and we'd cancel everyone. My sister flying over from London, you know. So like we 3 COVID kids, but it played out well for us. We had a huge amount of family time. We thoroughly enjoyed it. The kids, thankfully, are I think unaffected by it. And I don't mean to say that in a smug way, because I understand there's a lot of people who've, you know, had issues with the kids because of COVID. We were very blessed, very blessed. And I think by having maybe the 3 of them as well, they were such great friends for each other. The house was always changing, you know.
So, you know, you have these children. I'm not going to say calm in the chaos, because you're obviously an awesome mom. I know that you also, don't want to touch on it, raise them through Irish, or you definitely
absolutely.
do that. Yeah. Do you think, you know, we're talking a lot in this season about the working mums, the lack of balance, the chaos, the separated mums, the survival of it all. Do you think what you do within the home and being a designer and a creator and them going off to school allows you to raise these 3 kids the way you want to, as opposed to being in the corporate world? Or is it nothing to do with that?
No, I do think it does.
Yeah, okay.
I think, you know, if I look at my upbringing, my mom too was a designer.
Okay.
So she had her studio in the home.
What did she do, Emma?
She was a fashion designer.
Wow.
Yeah. Now she's an artist, but she spent many, many years creating incredible pieces for like a president's wife, for brides, for like she's done so many amazing things.
I never knew that.
Yeah. So I didn't lick it off a stone.
Yeah.
Do you know, my dad was an entrepreneur. So I basically am.
You were never going to work for the man.
No, I was
like
never.
You were never going to clock in and leave at 5:30.
No, like that's alien to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that about you. So you would be a bit allergic if I said tomorrow you got to go work in an office from night.
Not going to happen. No.
Right. Okay.
No.
Why?
Definitely
It's just not your bag.
But I've never done it, Rebecca. Yes. And that's the thing, when you have never done it.
It's like being institutional. You just be like, what?
Totally. I went from interning in McQueen to starting my own label 13 years ago. So I've never done it. So there's part of me that's like intrigued by it, but equally I don't think I would bode well in a situation like that. So I think my life, I had a beautiful upbringing. You know, I had 2 parents who adored me, 2 sisters who adored me. I got to sit in on bridal fittings with my mom. Everything was done in our home. Right. And it's so funny because...
So you got to watch her work, make a living, but not run off to the traffic all day or feel like she wasn't. You got to be part of her world.
I was a huge part of her world.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Like I have memories of handing her pearls that she was beading onto the bodice of a bride's dress. And then I'd be like, oh, Mum, can I sit in on that fitting? And all the brides were more than happy to have me there. They were like, yeah, absolutely, rock on. Yeah. So I think and I'm not saying it's an unconscious thing that's happening, but I understand the upbringing that I had. And I wouldn't, like, I think there's so many people, it's so hard where there's 2 parents going out in the morning to work. But that also brings other wonderful things where I think my boys, if you said to my boys, you know, about Mum's work, they'd be like, oh, but Mum doesn't work. Dad works. And I'm like, oh, pet.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
That happens a lot to people. Like Justine King was on and she's also like styling, she's at home and she's curating. Yeah. But she works her butt off. But like there is that feeling like she's not going somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's just, we all work in different ways.
Well, it's just making sure to reiterate constantly, Mum is working super hard.
Absolutely. And I'm like, you know, when I'm doing, you know, they'll say things like, oh yeah, when you're with the leather. I'm like, that's work, honey. Yeah, that's work.
Hard work.
I'm just not playing. It's not like art time for me.
So it's like crafting time.
Exactly. They just think it's crafting, you know.
It's good that you keep that going. Yeah.
But I think we've definitely made a conscious effort for me to be able to be at home with the boys, to continue Manley. Now, Manley has had to take a step back in so many ways, but that was by choice. But also, again, the time that we brought our 3 boys into the world and it, you know, coincided with COVID and everything, it was actually a perfect timing in many ways. So, you know, things are ramping back up now. I get to choose when I put the foot on the gas and I get to choose when I take the foot off. And, you know, my work is massively affected by that. But equally, I get to dance to the beat of my own drum. And it's, I suppose, the beat of my drum is what keeps the house going. You know, I am the centre point. Yeah.
What do you think of the trad wife? You know, like, I don't know whether you watch Ballerina Farm on Instagram.
Of course I do. Who doesn't?
Flipping heck, what great fucking content. Like, I'm booking Ballymaloon and then I'm like, no, Bex, you can't afford it. But like,
stop.
she's a smart ass businesswoman, right?
Yes, she is.
She's a good mom.
Yeah.
You know, we all can see, unless like there's something going on behind this, she's a good mom. She's fucking talented as hell. And it's like, the trad wife thing got bandied around. There was a New York Times piece around her, like, oh, she's subscribing to that and she's a stay-at-home. Like, she seems pretty in charge of her own destiny. Like, do you feel the trad wife thing, or that we're all kind of going back? I know Justine said to me, and this is kind of where I'm going with that, she's like, in a way, the whole thing of one person knowing their role and going out to do the work and make that salary, it kind of worked better because everyone knew where the hell they stood, whereas it's a little bit messy nowadays.
Yeah. And to a certain extent, I do agree with that. I like the whole, look, trad wife, it's like everything, a label's putting it for people to bandy around and people to criticise and whatever. Like, I do what I do in the home. My number one job is to look after the boys. I also have a fashion and accessories brand that I'm very much keeping alive and working very, very hard on. I am responsible for the cooking and all that, and I bloody love it.
You love it, yeah.
Oh my God, I love cooking.
Yeah,
like, I would spend all day in the kitchen.
For the cooking, yeah.
Yeah,
like this weekend I actually got to not be work mode where someone's feeding them rubbish. Like, I got to create that food.
Yeah.
And I felt so satisfied knowing I was feeding them the good stuff, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying they get terrible stuff in school, they do not, and they get their soup and their bread, but I was feeding them. And that actually gives me massive, I think it goes back to the old breastfeeding thing. It's like a control in that.
100%.
Whereas I don't have much control in their days, they're after school there, and that obviously really hard.
Yes.
So yeah, the cooking thing is huge for women. Some women.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely probably my biggest hobby.
Okay.
After, well, my work isn't a hobby, but I love doing it. So I would spend all day in the kitchen if I could. I love cooking with the boys. I love the clean plates at the end of dinner. We're finally getting to that point now where people are trying things and saying, oh, that looks nice. Can I try that? And it's not like, will you please eat? We don't necessarily have to disguise all of our vegetables anymore. It's wonderful. It took us a long
She's very good though, lads. If you follow Emma, and if you don't, do follow her. She's very good at the like baking, the foodie stuff, the interesting foodie stuff, the like freezing stuff. Like you are great at that. Like I would follow you for that stuff too.
Oh, good.
Like obviously your fashion is fab, but I don't know what it's like to raise boys, and I don't know what it's like to raise kids through Irish. So my thing with you is always food, opinions on stuff, and recommendations. So we all get something different from.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Your food stuff, Jesus. You're like ballerina farm.
I do make my own bread now.
Yes.
And we have our own chickens.
Do you?
Well, they're hens. They're not chickens.
Do you really?
Clearly.
That's cool.
We do, yeah. So the boys go out and get the eggs in the morning.
But you grew up in Dublin, not you grew up in Dublin, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, you're a Dublin girl.
We're just trying to bring a little bit of owns. He grew up on a farm.
Oh, did he?
In a Gaeltacht.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
like
so
we're very...
That's the dream.
Yeah, we're fundamentally very different.
Yeah.
Well, different upbringings and different people. Yeah. And you can't just say because we live in Dublin that here's my life. Like we're living on the same road that I grew up on.
Yeah.
You know, it's very much my life, but we have to bring elements of his home to it. So yeah, that's where the whole hen thing came from.
Funny. So you have a 2-year-old who isn't obviously in preschool or Eki or...
He'll start Nínra in September.
So he's with you?
Yes, full time.
All day?
Yeah.
The other two pop off till what time?
Well, Danine has only gone 8:30 to 11:30.
11:30.
Yeah, and then Tyga's gone 9 until 1:30.
So your day is mental.
Yeah. 100%.
And what is that like? Survival, toilet, cooking, another snack, cooking.
By the time you get the drop offs done in the morning, now there's 2 days a week that I work. So I'll drop Darach off to my mum. She loves the time with the boys. So you have
allotted time for your
Yeah. And then I would work a lot in the evenings, weekends, that kind of thing. So yeah, like an awful lot of the time is just preparing the meals for that day, cleaning, getting their stuff together for school, whatever it might be. Like there's not like, I'm not off in the park, you know, pushing Darach on the swing full time. It doesn't happen. Like I don't get that time. But equally, I love the time that I have with him. He's mad for a job. Like he knows when he comes home with me on Monday, we've got to get the wash on. And he'll be upstairs pulling at the basket saying, Mummy, let's do the washing. He knows the shopping days. And he loves it. He thrives on it. And I think actually that's the role I played with my mom a lot. I was 4 years younger than my next sibling. So I often did the running of the home with her. You know, like, are you more of a hindrance than a help? Half the time, yeah. But it was a lovely thing that I picked up from her. Like I cooked with my mom a lot. I did all that stuff, and I feel like now that's very much part of me, and I'm able to do that stuff quite naturally. And the fact that he's a boy also, I'm like, yeah, you know how to hoover, yeah, you know how to clean that window. It's not like, I'll never forget the day that Tyg looked at the hoover and said, Mummy's hoover. And I went, oh, you didn't. And I made sure.
Woman to raise these boys well, Emma.
Yeah, I feel like, you know,
there's a responsibility there.
There's a huge responsibility. And
I want
to raise great boys.
That's you know, going on in the world with the lovely men.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing. I know for a lot of my girls raising gorgeous boys, so I'm like, Jesus, they're fucking brilliant. I know that they feel it, and that's shit that they have to feel like that. They shouldn't feel like that.
I don't know. I don't know how much I'm affected by that. I just know. I know what I feel like I know what qualities I love about Owen and what I wanted in a father to my kids and what I wanted in a husband to me. And I think if I can replicate that, and if I can, you know, there's always things that you want to bring from your childhood as well into it. And if I can do that, I'd be super happy. You know, you can't create the perfect feminist of a man, but what you can do is show them the qualities that you really appreciate.
Did you always want to be a mom? Like I think there's such a juxtaposition, and I think it's just, you know, that we are complex as women and fucking brilliant. And I think maybe men don't have those complexities of character, but like you always struck me. I mean, I would never have said highly strung as just a busy go-getter, but kind and warm with that, but just fucking on your A game, right? When I knew you in the design world and fashion and just out there. And then there's this kind of other side of you, and jokes aside about trad mom, but you're the freaking cook and you're getting the boy. That whole day is dedicated to your kids. And then there's the other side of you. So you're interesting and intriguing, but like, did you always want to be a mama?
I think I was always massively maternal. I was always that person who was over with people's kids. I always babysat. I always loved children. But when me and Owen were together, was I the one going, oh, honey, please, let's have a baby? No, it was him. Okay. But Owen's 6 years older than me.
Okay, same in
So,
the relationship,
yeah, so I feel like he was probably at that stage of life where he was going, okay, let's crack on and let's do this.
There has to be someone taking hold of something. Yeah,
absolutely. But to be honest, I was at the point in my career where Manley was really taking off. And like Manley, I worked so goddamn hard to build it, so hard. And then we were getting to this point where, you know, it was doing so well, it was thriving, it was growing constantly. And then it was like, okay, well, if we throw a baby at this, and I very much wanted one, but it wasn't like, I wasn't saying, oh, let's start our family now. If Owen had said, let's give it 3 years, you keep growing, Matt, I would have been like, okay, grand, you know. But then it's so funny, the minute you start trying, then, you know, you're like, okay, this needs to happen now.
Yeah, and then if it doesn't, it's awful. Yeah,
exactly. So no, I don't. I think I've always been massively maternal, but I don't think that I was that girl. Like, I never imagined my wedding day.
Yeah, no, me neither.
I never imagined having kids. And that's why I find it bizarre now in a way that I am home with them as much as I am. That I'm like, oh, would I have planned this? I remember saying, you know, before I'd had kids, I was like, oh no, they'll be in creche and I'll work full time. And I honestly think COVID was the thing that kind of gave me the slap across the face. Like, Tyke had a place in creche. He never went because COVID came. Yes. And then I was huge expecting my next. And I was like, what's the point in having him in creche when I'm at home with one anyway?
Yeah.
I don't want him to be off and not getting to spend time with me when I'm at home with the kid anyway. And then by the time Deneen was 5 months old, I was expecting Darach. So he never went.
Yeah.
You
and
know,
that was the plan.
So I think that it was a culmination of things, but it was very much the timing. And that's not something we orchestrated.
Yeah.
So we're here because of
loads of things.
Yeah.
Pregnancy, delayed pregnancy, babies, COVID, everything.
Absolutely.
And would you give up the brand that is so stunning, Manley, ever? No.
So you are a person, right? And if you strip it back, you're a person. But what else are you? You're a mother. That's part of your identity. For me, I'm a fashion designer. That's part of my identity. I love to cook. That's part of my identity. I love working out. That's okay. So when people kind of berate you for saying that your work is part of your identity, I just think, well, maybe you're actually probably not in the right job.
Yeah. Or maybe you haven't found that yet. Yeah.
So
because they're like, no, being a wife and a mom. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. But like, my identity until I die, when my kids are fecking off to Australia or who knows what they'll do, or you have to have your passion. And maybe it's not a 9-to-5 job. Maybe it's just a passion, but you have to have it. So Manley, what is it? Because it's such an awesome brand. Like, it's very eclectic. It's sexy. It's progressive. It's cool, right? It's
also
all
a
of
bit
the
street.
things.
Yeah,
it is
for
a bit
sure.
street for Irish designer, because sometimes with Irish design it can be, you know, softly cashmere or traditional or so. You've really stuck out, and everybody knows that your stuff is not like some copy thing from some. It's so you.
Yeah. You know,
so
Manley, when
what
you see
does it represent for you?
The brand as a whole, like, it's Manley has grown, I think, so organically with me. And, you know, when I started out, I was doing, you know, 2 collections a year. It was spring, summer, autumn, winter, trading into stores, doing all that. Yeah, but then it grew to, you know, the pressure on, you need 4 seasons. And then you need 6. And then there's a constant pressure, right? And now what Manley is I very much dance to the beat of my own drum, but it's not that it's not strategic. It's not that I'm just going, oh, today I'm going to make a pink leather skirt. Yeah. Obviously, I run a business. I run a tight ship. But I do it, I create pieces that are timeless. I do not follow trends. Like, my biggest seller is still our metallic leather t-shirt.
Yeah, it's so good.
Do you know how long we've been selling that?
Yeah, but it's like easy wear, looks great with jeans or a dressed up or a wedding skirt or tulle. Like, it's just hot.
100%.
You're wearing, she's wearing, you'll see it in the social videos, like shorty dungarees and like, they're just so hot. Like, with the jumper, with the top,
they get better with age.
Yeah.
And it's the whole point is that you invest in something that's absolutely truly beautiful. It'll stand the test of time because
and
it's
your pants,
handcrafted.
I think you have trousers that are super
the
popular.
leather trousers. So I think with Manley, you know, we're releasing lots of new pieces at the moment. Like, the bag line is forever growing. And then on the kind of sustainability side of things, I'm doing a huge amount. We've like launched our greeting cards that are made from the offcuts of our women's wear line. And, you know, it's...
Where do you sell into? Is it only from your side or your home?
From
so it is.
Side,
So it's not expensive to, like, do you find it expensive to run? For your leather, for your being sustainable, for you? Do you find it really hard to run?
Sustainability, there's so many boxes to tick even to use that word. And I think it's about as a person what you want to get from the brand and what you want to kind of pass on in the future. So I think, the cost of running it aside, it's what you want your legacy to be with the brand. And I want to be a sustainable brand. But there's only so far you can take that. And I'm trying to do my best within my small business. And I think to be honest, I think we're kind of killing it on that front at the moment. And I'm really proud of it.
Are you good with money, budgets, expenses? Are you a good businesswoman?
Yes. Could I be better? Yes.
Okay.
I could be way better.
What are you bad at?
Oh, I don't love the money side of things. I can be a bit flippant, but I am a creative. And I think that that's something that a lot of us business owners who are running creative businesses will always acknowledge.
And who keeps that in check?
Me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So there's no
I'm
one
answerable
overseeing.
for everything.
Okay.
Everything. Everything comes through me.
Okay.
So you're like a puppeteer.
Yeah.
You've got all these different
Does
things.
Owen play a role in the
He
business?
absolutely does, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't
And
know
he
that.
has since the day I met him. I remember actually we were on our first date and he said, it was back in the Twitter days, and he said, so how many followers do you have on Twitter? Because I was explaining to him about the business. And I was like, I don't know, about 71. And he was like, oh, well, the future is, and he went into this. And the man knows his stuff. He's an absolute tech whiz.
Yeah.
He is gifted at what he does.
Yeah, and so he helps on that side.
Oh, massively. Yeah. He designs the website. He runs it. He has a huge part to play. And actually, it's a beautiful thing working with him. I love our
But it's not what he does full time.
No.
Okay, because he works.
He works, yeah. Oh, yeah, he absolutely does. But I think he really enjoys it. I think he loves the excitement of what I do.
But it's the legacy. It's for your boys down the line.
Yeah.
It's what's left and it's your thing.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
What are you scared of, Emma? You talk about your business is gorgeous. It'll grow again even more. At the moment, you're probably on that kind of make those gorgeous pieces, keep it calm and steady. Yeah. What are you scared of for raising your family? What are fears that you have?
I think, obviously social media is a huge thing that's talked about a lot now. And I think thankfully myself and Owen are very much on the same page. There's certain things in parenting that we wouldn't be on the same page for. Or, you kind of have to present your side and say, look, I think we should do this. But we're a no screen family.
Yeah, same.
And I think for me,
then your boys don't. So explain that. No iPads.
No, we don't have any iPads.
Yeah,
in the
no
house
devices. But are they allowed television?
They're allowed to have television, but
and
they
movies
get
and stuff. Yeah,
a very small amount.
Time.
Yeah,
same. Yeah. But they don't have. Here's your iPad to sit in a car.
No, and they've never seen anything on our phones.
Yeah.
They think that I call my mom on my phone, or I call their dad.
So you're obviously not scrolling because come on, none of us are perfect. We're scrolling. We're looking. Yeah. You're not doing that around them.
So I try my hardest not to. I have a place where I put my phone. I don't always put it in that place. And sometimes I have to and I'll say to them, this is mummy's work. So I try and explain that the reason that I'm doing that is my work, and they'll understand sometimes. And I think it's a really hard thing to manage. So I have my Instagram account for me. I have a Manley Instagram account, which I need to keep going as well. Okay. And do I love putting content out all the time? There's a certain part to me that loves, I love when I share a new recipe and people are going,
your stuff.
Oh, Emma, can you tell me I've done it like this? Or the amount of DMs I'll get of people making my bread or making my pizza sauce.
And none of it's brain dead stuff or random. It's lovely content.
But it's super basic. It's not I'm not a chef. I'm a simple home cook who just likes to cook nourishing things. Whatever, that's fine. I love putting out manly things. I love when people are DMing me pictures of them and their manly, and I'm putting that out. Love that stuff. But there's certain element of work that you have to put into it in order to keep it going that way. And that's the part that I dislike, where I find sometimes I'll end up scrolling. I'm like, is this doing you any good? Do you actually give a shit what that person had for their breakfast in the morning? No, you don't.
It is mindless, and we're all, and I do think it's something that it's good that you called up when I said, what are your fears, social media? I'm like, okay, she's talking about porn, she's talking about, you're kind of just talking about the inane, what I would worry about, the inane addictive qualities of it. It's not that it's bad. I personally don't have, maybe I will one day, trolls or horrible, I don't really, right? I've the odd dickhead. Yeah. But mostly it's kind of clean, okay?
Yeah, great.
And mostly I get a really great kick out of it, and I love messaging people like you privately and connecting. For God's sake, this podcast is built on my contacts. Yeah. But there is that waking up in the morning and you're just wrecked, and the kids, and you're and just looking at shite. Now, news stories, I'd be obviously wanting to see that, but I don't know the value.
But
and I worry about that. And it's good to
Yeah.
hear you saying like you have an organized way about it.
I feel like my social media is part of my job, right? So that needs to fit in to my working day and not into my personal day. Now, yes, like absolutely. There's times where I'll take out my phone. Like, I don't know, I'll have to take pictures of a family meal that I would like to share for, you know, people for recipe ideas or whatever it might be. So I'll have to take out my phone to do that. But I'm learning so quickly to put it back away and for me not to have to post in the moment, or a lot of my stuff isn't time sensitive because like this weekend, for example, I don't like, there's certain things about my weekend that I would love to share, but I don't feel like it needs to intrude on my family weekend away where we get to switch off, we get to be in the countryside in a beautiful Gaeltacht, spending time with family. Like, I don't owe it to you to show you that in that moment. And I think it's about learning to compartmentalize it. And I feel like when we sit down to our family dinner in the evening, I've spent time cooking a meal for us all to share together. I owe it to my children to be present and not to have a TV on and not to have them playing computer
and
games.
have that as a memory.
And
Mommy was always on her. Like Gia even said to me yesterday, I was taking some videos of the Paddies. I didn't share any of it, but just, and she goes, "Oh, can you just put your phone away?" And I was like,
yeah.
she's 7. And I went, "Okay, cool, Pat." And I was actually, she called me out.
She
on my
mortified you.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a great moment because in a way I was like, absolutely, I don't even know what I'm doing. I think it's just some freezing undertaking.
Yeah.
But then I feel really bad for the influencers when you said there beautifully, I don't owe it to my fucking followers. I feel sad for the influencers who do owe it, feel they have to feed the beast, feel that they have to share their I feel fucking sorry for them because I've gone on trips with them, I've been in their company and they're wonderful women, but it's like, bam, 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 and that is so
when
stressful.
You remember when you talked about pressure earlier?
Yeah.
Imagine that for them.
No, I can't.
And that's why I feel
they
now
must
like...
be like wound up like a freaking,
Yeah.
you know...
The whole real time stuff absolutely freaks me out.
Yeah, it freaks me out.
And that's why it's like, I feel that this slower pace of life where
it suits you better.
100%.
Your exercise, you're feeling yourself with good food. You're making you'll build your brand to be bigger and bigger, but like you don't need to buy into that. I love that about you. It's like you've made executive decisions.
And only,
Are you good? Are you good, you know, you're obviously a good couple, but like, are you good at making these decisions as a team? There's never like a...
No, I think we are. I think, do you know, I think the hardest part for us of marriage has been learning to parent together.
Okay.
And
I think that's the case for everyone.
Oh, totally.
I think you can meet someone, fancy the whole of them, know that they have the same values, build a life financially together, and then suddenly go, what the you? Because Jason would be a bit of a devil now for being like, she can just watch a bit of that while I get dressed. I'm like, she doesn't need to. She's got books everywhere. She's got toys. And then we'd argue about that.
Yeah.
And he's not doing anything wrong. It's just not my vibe.
Yeah.
And then, you know, in another way, he'd be like, you shouldn't show them when you're cranky. And I'm like, well, I'm not perfect. So, you know, like this morning I was like, come on, let's go. And he was like, you should always be. I'm like, I can't always be calm.
Yeah, and they need to know that we all have different inflections in our personality. Yeah. No, I think it was, you know, I don't think we were that couple who discussed thoroughly how we're going to raise children.
Yes.
But I think there's a constant communication on how things are going. Like I remember when, you know, so where we currently live, there's a Montessori that's like 3 doors up the road. Now, wouldn't that have been ideal? And I kind of was like, oh, sure, we'll just chuck them in there. And Owen's like, no, we're raising them bilingually.
So you
to
decided this when you got married that if you were having kids or not? It just organically happened?
A bit of both. But to be honest, like Owen's first language is Irish.
So his first language is Irish. Where in Cork is he from?
He's from Cooley.
So that's, I don't know, it's a
Gaeltacht.
I didn't know that because I went to the
Cork,
Gaeltacht in Galway somewhere. So, okay, there's a Gaeltacht area.
Yeah.
You grew up in an Irish school or not?
No. My Irish was appalling, to say the very least.
Oh, God, I'm so kind of shocked by all of this. Okay, so sorry.
Yeah.
But you speak it fluently now.
So fluently is a massive push. I am learning, but I'm learning with the boys.
But how did you learn? Through Owen or through a course?
Through the boys.
Through the boys?
Yeah, because he just speaks Irish to them, like.
So you're listening and so you did Irish in school like all of us?
Yeah, but honestly, Rebecca, I cannot emphasize
this is shocking to me.
Yeah, I was so shit at it. As in, like,
this
just
is so funny.
Atrocious. And then I remember I'd be in the car with him going down to Cooley, you know, for the weekend.
And they all speak they all speak it in the house.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he picked you. He knew that you weren't.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have pushed it on me or said you need to. But I'd be in the car going, "May tu she shin shiv sheath," and he's like, "Sorry, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And he would never have heard that. And he's like, "No, you learn through conversation." But it was only when the boys came along that, like, Tig's Irish is beautiful. Like, he speaks it so well, and now he corrects me. but I have to do his homework with him, so I'm learning with him.
So you literally, you know, force of a man, great marriage, you go down, you immerse yourself in his family life, you take it handy, you have kids, and the decision is, okay, we really, really want them to have Irish as a language as well. Like,
yeah, it was a non-negotiable for
okay.
But I didn't
And
realise
you didn't push back and go, no.
No, but then we were like, oh, we found a Nina. Sure, look, we'll do that, yeah.
But you were never like, I really couldn't give a shit about Irish, actually, Owen, sorry. No.
No.
Okay.
Because, like, when you have a man who is living in your home county, who puts as much effort and time into helping you build your business and being the support system for you.
You gotta
like
go
a relationship
there.
is give and take.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I'm down in Cooley and you are part of that community, which I do feel like I'm part of now, you see the beauty in it. Like, I would have criticised the Irish language before I met him, like in an awful way. And now I'm like, this is, it's something that I'm now part of and privy to, that I'm like, this is the most beautiful thing. Like seeing the boys, you know, at trad sessions, seeing them, I in just all of the simple things.
But it'll only stand to them, right? So more and more people now are realising the importance of it. There was a bit of a lull there in 90s and I think how it was being taught, actually, let's be honest about it.
100%.
But we're seeing the value, we're seeing the beauty in it. We're also knowing that, you know, you go to an Irish school, that's just, learning through Irish is such a fucking amazing way to get educated. We know that they're doing better when it comes to their results. But then we're also like, wow, we have this to go out into the world. But then it also helps at learning other languages, because if you're like, you know, my husband grew up with another language. If you have something else, it's just easier, right? Your little brain. So there's so many benefits to it. And I know more and more of my friends who did not have Irish are shite at it, who go off and they're sending their kids to Irish schools.
Yeah.
So
I think as well, and this is something that I feel quite strongly about, is in this day and age, people are often raising their children to, I don't know, you know, they should go off and they should learn specific languages because this is going to serve them better when they're trying to find jobs in finance or when they're you're almost planning your child's future. And I just look at it now and I think this language being brought into my children's life is teaching them about their culture, where their people came from. They're going to hopefully play an instrument that came from their country. They're playing their, you know, Pella and Amoniach at the weekends. That is our thing. That's our sport.
And we forget.
Yeah.
Because we're so westernized and we're so Americanized and we're so,
We don't need to constantly be striving to push them to make big money in the future and big jobs and run these fast-paced lives.
Those people aren't happy.
It's totally, and sometimes it's just the simple things. And for me, seeing the boys being raised through Irish, I had so much criticism in the earlier days where people would say, oh, they'll speak late. And I'd say, okay, you just kind of learnt after a while when people would hear you speaking in Irish to them. I would just be like, whatever. I just kind of brushed it off. It got a bit annoying, but it was so funny because each of our boys have been very, very articulate from very young ages. So they've all spoken very early and having full-blown conversations by 2. And, you know, so I think it serves them really, really well. Now, it doesn't everybody. But, you know, Tig's now he's in Níl an Mhóra in a Gael school, and it's just remarkable to see all these kids having their little chats in the yard.
I love this.
You know, I'm still with that butterflies in my stomach, you know, when I have to say something to the teacher.
Yeah, are you shy? Like in the house, are you just great at doing it? Like, what are you?
No. Well, no, when I'm with the boys, I am with them. Nobody else's ears are privy to our conversations.
So it doesn't really matter if you're a little bit.
So I speak simply and it's very childish Irish that I speak, but I'm learning to perfect that. And in time, I will get a little bit better. Like I noticed this weekend actually in Cooley, I did speak to people a little bit in Irish, or I'd throw in my words. So it's my confidence is growing. But let's be fair, like me and Owen are together like 12 years. Yeah. It's taken that time, but it's taken the boys giving it to me. Yeah. That now I'm like, actually, I can do this. Yeah. Have your confidence, Emma. This. You know? What
pisses Emma, I know things piss you off because you're a super bright woman and you and I engage in a lot of chats about stuff. You listen to podcasts, you are very much listening to what's going on in the world. What pisses you off? Because as much as you're a bright spark, you make beautiful pieces for women to feel hot in and you're a great mama. Like, what pisses you off?
Lots of things piss me off. Be more specific.
Like, what's fucking annoying you going on in the world?
Oh, there's a lot of things annoying me. I don't know, cheap fashion.
Yes.
People copying brands. So on a work level, like on a much deeper level, I think we're all very much affected by what we're seeing going on in the world. And to say that pisses me off is minimizing it massively. I think it's very hard to watch what's going on and to be in our four walls, very safe with our beautiful, healthy families who have food to eat, a bed to sleep in at night. I think we're living in a very turbulent time. There's so much going on. And sometimes I look at my 3 boys and think, God, you have no idea. You have no idea what's happening right now.
Are we going backwards? I'm talking about as women. I'm not talking about like, yes, there's horrors in the world. There's always been horrors. There will always be horrors because unfortunately when you have warlords or dictators and it's fucking awful.
Yeah.
But for women who have gotten so far, is there a big worry about that?
Do you know what? I think it's an ongoing conversation because we have worked so hard to get to this point in time. And it is a learning, I'd say, for some people more than others that, you know, there's a conversation of, can you have it all? Like, duh, we know that you can't. But it's what portion of things that you want. So do you want to be a full-time working woman?
This is like John Belton said, it's not about having it all. He's like, it's what your values are. Like, what are your... And I go, what do you mean? He goes, it's not about 6 or 7 value specs. It's about 3. So you pick 3. He's like, fitness is fucking huge. I want to be a healthy person who's alive to kids, but also making a tiny bit of money. So it's like, how do you fulfill? He's like, it's not about like the car, the holiday, the kids, the job, the promotion, the husband. He's like, you just can't do all of those ones.
But some people do.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Each to their own. Yeah. And I think it's about prioritizing what you want. We can't have it all. And I think I am so massively aware of that, that you have to orchestrate your life to, as he said, to display the values that, you know, you want to bring to your home, to your kids, to your little circle. And that's okay. And I don't think as women we're going backwards, but I think we're very much learning that the value we bring to a home isn't always going to be in the monetary sense. Okay. Or isn't, and I'm not saying that a man should go out and do the work. I'm definitely not saying that. I think that some families work really, really well with the woman bringing the breadwinner and the man staying at home. There's so many different permutations of a family, but I think what it is how that family works. Yeah. And every family is different. Some people work really well with 2 people going out the door in the morning. You know, I have a house to clean all day, every day, right? I have 3 boys running around that house full time. Some people walk out that door, their kids go to somewhere to be cared for, to school. They come home in the evening, their house is frickin' spotless. You will never see my house spotless, right? I have kids out in the garden full time. My kids from the road. There's muck all over the ground from them coming in and not taking off their shoes. I don't know how many times I have to say it. I don't know how many times I have to say no footballs in the house. Do you know this? Everybody's life is different and it's grand. But as women, we don't need to label us all and say, you know, you can have it all or you can't have it all. You just do you. Yeah. And stop focusing on other people and thinking, oh my God, look what she's doing. If I was to do that and look at other designers and say, oh my God, look at them. They've got this big studio in town and they go into that every day and they get their matcha latte before they go to work. And they're going over to like the leather show over in London or in Italy that I used to go to. I wouldn't get out of bed in the morning.
I totally agree with you.
But guess what? Agree with you. I do things my way.
I know.
I
do agree with you. I think if we sat and compared, and it's something I definitely did a lot in my 30s of, and it was so toxic, and thankfully kind of growing out of that, just copping the fuck on. But I totally agree with you. If I was to sit and look at women broadcasters or women in journalism, I wouldn't get out of bed either, because it would just be like, Rebecca, what happened, yeah? Do you know what I mean? It's also, just not worth it.
Is your husband on his phone looking at other men? Because I know sure as hell there's no way that Owen's looking going, oh, I'm comparing myself to so-and-so who's got the same job in a different company.
It's not a hope. It's not that he's balls of steel and far too much confidence. No. It's just that he's like doing his thing.
They don't give a shit. They just go and they do their thing. Yeah.
They're like, John got a promotion. Sure, that was great. Yeah. Okay, great. Did you know they're going, like, he doesn't give a shite.
I feel like
What is that?
Well, I think we're probably just getting...
fucking assholes.
We're just getting to a point in our life where... It's not zero shits given. I'm not there yet.
No, not there.
But there's less shits given
and also we're
about
tired.
What other people are. Yeah, we are. Less shits given, and I just want to concentrate on me, my family, my life, my business. I want to concentrate on what I'm putting on the dinner table in the evenings. Like, it sounds menial, but that's okay because I'm just running my little ship and everybody gets to do their own.
Badass leather bitch, Emma Manley. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Very excited to have this one go out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sponsored by Optimal Follow On. We believe that every feed is a gift. That's why we've dedicated over 50 years to breast milk research. Aptamil Follow-On Milk, your life, our science. Breastfeeding is best. Follow-On milk should be used as part of a mixed diet from 6 months. Talk to a health professional. If you like this episode, will you please rate it, subscribe and share it with others? This helps me get the guests that you want to hear.